So, how does 2001 exist in the moment? How does it capture the moment of the 60s? Well, it was 68 when it came out, but actually the film itself was made over a few years. The early scenes were made in 65, they started filming. What you're seeing here is the end, which was 68. And, that was the time of radical change, upheavals in society, assassinations, and most historians and such pay attention to the politics of the era. It's important to pay attention to the culture and the art of the era because it was such a creative era. And, why does a film like this, how can it be successful in 1968? Could this film be successful in our era? Well, that's really an irrelevant question because it only exists in its own era. But 1968 was also a time of the film Medium Cool, which was about media. The title was Haskell Wexler was the director, but the title was based on Marshall McLuhan's book. The medium is the message, medium cool meaning TV. And that was an interesting depiction of fiction versus reality. That's another constant running theme through the 60s films. Fantasy versus reality, fiction versus reality. In that film, we see fictional characters going through the Chicago riots at the 1968 Democratic Convention. So fiction juxtaposed with reality. We saw that also, Blow Up used that theme, fantasy versus reality. Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf used that theme, fantasy or reality, which is really at the core of what the play. So what we're seeing here is the final scene, Jupiter Beyond the Infinite segments, and this is supposed to be another world of some kind. It's a little ambiguous of whether it's Jupiter. What doesn't look like Jupiter looks like, a blue Earth, which is what it is. But, it's supposed to be another world where this astronaut's been transported into another dimension by extraterrestrials. And it's supposed to have a spiritual significance because the monolith keeps appearing throughout the film. The monolith is the movie's equivalent of God, even though the Arthur C. Clarke was a non-believer. But the 60s were about meaning, trying to find meaning, trying to create meaning. And, this film was judged to be profound by people seeking meaning. So what you're seeing here is a scene from the movie Contempt, or La Meurtrie, starring Brigitte Bardot, who's shown here there's a reason why she's wearing a brunette wig, or a wig actually that looks just like Anna Karenina's hair, because that was Goddard's wife, and the actress who was in most of his movies before this. Brigitte Bardot came in as a commercial, to help commercialize this film, and this was his most successful film commercially. Contempt is the English title. So, here they're in a big studio in France.
Delphine! Viens voir, ils sont arrivés. Ils s'installent sur la place. Tu sais, les gosses seront jamais prêts. Faudra les faire répéter dimanche matin. Ben non. Tu crois? Nous sommes deux sœurs jumelles, nées sous le signe des Gémeaux. Mi fa sol la mi ré mi fa sol 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 ré do. Toutes deux demoiselles ayant eu des amants très tôt. Mi fa sol la mi ré mi fa sol 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 ré do.
Nous fûmes toutes deux élevées par maman, qui pour nous se priva travailla vaillamment. Elle voulait de nous faire des érudites, et pour cela vendit toute sa vie des frites. Nous sommes toutes deux nées de pères inconnus. Cela ne se voit pas, mais quand nous sommes nus, nous avons toutes deux au creux des reins, c'est fou. Là, un grain de beauté
Qu'il avait sur la joue. Nous sommes deux sœurs jumelles, nées sous le signe des Gémeaux. Mi fa sol la mi ré mi fa sol 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 ré do. Et mon ritournelle, les calembours et les bons mots. Mi fa sol la mi ré mi fa sol 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 ré do.
Nous sommes toutes deux joyeuses et ingénues,
Attendant de l'amour ce qu'il est convenu
d'appeler coup de foudre
aux sauvages passions. Nous sommes toutes deux prêtes à perdre raison. Nous avons toutes deux une âme délicate,
artiste passionné,
musicienne,
acrobate,
cherchant un homme bon.
cherchant un homme beau.
Bref, un homme idéal, avec ou sans défaut. Nous sommes deux sœurs jumelles, nées sous le signe des Gémeaux. Mi fa sol la mi ré mi fa sol 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 ré do. Du plomb dans la cervelle, de la fantaisie à gogo. Mi fa sol la